G'day guys, Justin here coming at you with another Player of the Day, NBA Player of the Day, this time for the 30th of October 2017. Had plenty to choose from today, had New York getting another win, so Kristaps Porzingis did play well, Kyrie Irving played well, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry playing well over three quarters, Kemba Walker even playing well in the game for Charlotte. But my player of the day is Anthony Davis with a total impact score of .306 in a loss, unfortunately, for the Pelicans there to the Orlando Magic. Now, Davis's stats read as 39 points, 10 rebounds, 3 of those offensive, so not too bad, almost at that, basically at that 2-to-1 ratio, the 33% mark. Pretty hard to get more than 30% there. I mean, unless you got 40, obviously. 2 assists, no steals, but the 3 blocks, all of those coming in the first quarter. Shot 65% from the field and didn't make one from deep. I think he only had 2 or 3 shots from deep, but banging inside really well there at 65% and 86.7 from the stripe. So an overall scoring night, not too bad. For a guy who tries his 3-pointers, you'd probably like to see a couple fall, but as a person who likes watching the big guys go well down low and really utilise their ability to get to the paint and get to the cup, that's a good shooting night. And 86.7 from the stripe again. Big guys who shoot 70% plus from the foul line are good in my books. So 86.7, a very good pass mark. Only the 2 turnovers, so an efficient offensive night, and only the 1 foul amongst those 3 blocks. So a reasonably good defensive night. On 41 minutes of play, it did lead the New Orleans Pelicans in minutes. So Davis obviously running around with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus playing a hell of a lot more of a playmaking style of play lately, being complemented by Etuan Moore, Drew Holiday, and Jimmy Nelson. Utilising his ability was helpful for Davis, and vice versa on nights where Cousins have been able to hit shots and really get it into the flow of the offense. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that tonight, and I think that's the reason why New Orleans didn't win the game. I also think it's a reason why New Orleans can be quite fallible, is that they do probably rely a little too much. As much as I like watching it, they probably rely a little too much on their big guys to click and really lead this team to a win. So when they're both not on song, they really don't have that much of a chance at winning. I mean, it must be noted that Davis didn't really score many points after the early part of the last quarter, so that after getting within 12, so that was also a problem. But nonetheless, again, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, to go with 3 blocks on 65% shooting from the floor and only 2 turnovers and 1 foul in 41 minutes of play. There really wasn't much more that AD could have done. So as we go through the game breakdown here, he opened his account by a block on Aaron Gordon. He then ran the floor to receive an alley-oop pass from Drew Holiday for the open dunk. And it looked like the Pelicans were on a solid song here. Davis had, I think, 26 to half-time, so it spoke the volumes of his scoring and his efficiency ability. It also speaks numbers when he only scored 13 in the second half. He then dribbled and post up on young Isaac, the rookie there for the Magic. He then span and made the fadeaway on Terrence Ross after Isaac lost his feet and basically fell flat on his backside. He then drove to the hoop and was fouled by Isaac and made both. He was defended a lot by Isaac, Morris Spates, and Vucevic in this game. Biyombo in spades as well, even Aaron Gordon, but generally Spates and Isaac and Vucevic were the 3 primary defenders here for Davis. He then blocked cutting Evan Fournier floater at the rim. He then went down the other end and got a shot fake and a drive on Mo Spates, and then shot fake and a drive on Mo Spates out there on the wing on the 45, and then dunk past Jonathan Simmons for the finish, who has been playing well the past couple of games for the Orlando Magic. In fact, he was pretty key in their win today. He then got a block on a Nikola Vucevic hook shot and comes straight back down the floor to post up on Vucevic, turn into a triple threat position from there, dribble and spin into the lane for what was a one-handed floating 2. Vucevic, again, the European style, but the problem is with a lot of these European styles is they don't have that defensive presence. He does have the ability to score and rebound, Vucevic, but again, defensively is what lacks with a lot of these guys. I mean, you've only got to look at Dirk Nowitzki. Even his rebounding numbers struggled throughout his prime. Dirk was a great scorer and a great shooter, don't get us wrong about that, but his defensive efforts and even his rebounding numbers at times are a problem. I think that's where the European players have improved, is their ability to actually go inside and rebound and score. But I really think their defensive game hasn't improved much. He then had a one-dribble pull-up jumper at the top of the circle over a late contesting Vucevic following a Jameer Nelson pass. And it was good to see early on that Davis had his defensive game, his rebounding game, and his jump shot going well, particularly when he wasn't able to get inside. Not that it didn't happen very often. He then passed out to Holiday, who dribbled in for the score over Fournier. I really didn't like this. They counted it as an assist. I mean, Holiday took nearly took 2-3 dribbles here. He was the one that created all the movement. He simply just caught the ball on the outside and did the rest of the work. So the assist was credited to Davis, but I don't think it should have. That's just me. He then drove down the lane on Bismarck Biyombo, who fouled him and made both from the line. Biyombo really didn't think he'd touched him. It was quite a soft foul, considering some of the other ones they had called earlier and they called for the rest of the game. This was quite a soft foul. He then dribbled from the elbow and made a floater over Aaron Gordon, following a nice pass there from DeMarcus Cousins. Again, when you've got that inside presence of one big and the ability to play on the perimeter and dribble inside out or outside in from another big, you've always got to watch. As a mere factor of, I believe it might have been Isaac guarding, might not have even been Isaac. I think it was Isaac guarding Davis out on the perimeter, and because of the ability to get the one dribble off around the rookie, that was Aaron Gordon step up, he just couldn't get off Cousins in time. So again, he hit the floater over Gordon. He then posted up on Vucevic, caught the ball, immediately spun and shot and made the two. He was quite quick with his footwork in this particular play. Poor pass, but he made the most of it and made the pass look pretty good in the end. He then posted up down low on Aaron Gordon, as fouled at his shot and made both free throws. Following that, he grabbed a defensive rebound, which led straight into a fast break. He drove all the way on Isaac, but was fouled on a reach by Fournier and made both free throws. Again, the defensive capability of some of these players has been very questionable. Isaac had him very well covered. There was no need for Fournier to even reach. Isaac had bodied him enough and played well enough defensively. It's just ticky-tacky fouls and carelessness on the defence, didn't read the ball, and rather than slap up, he slapped down, which is always going to cause contact. Most people know you slap up from under the ball. The offensive rebound was then turned into a putback dunk on Terrence Ross following Tony Allen's miss. Here's another player I think that can be well utilised by the New Orleans Pelicans is Tony Allen. You've got Tony Allen coming deep off the bench. Obviously, they have a good young and athletic guard rotation, but Tony Allen is still a top 10 defender in this league, even at the perimeter and even for his age. There's no doubt about it. Tony Allen should be injected probably into the starting lineup and used more willingly when Cousins and Davis aren't clicking. I think that's a priority, particularly knowing that tonight DeMarcus Cousins had an off night. I mean, he had 12 points, 12 assists. I was at 12 points, 12 rebounds, I think, and 6 assists. But his scoring was off. So obviously he needed to try and pick up a bit more defensively, and that's where Tony Allen can come in and maybe take a bigger forward. He is known to have played well on guys like a Kevin Durant, who are 7 foot and very lengthy and the ability to play all over the court. He then posted up on Mo Spates and was fouled in the act of shooting and made both free throws. And then again, posted up on Aaron Gordon, dribbled inside and scored with the assist from E'Twaun Moore. This was just simple. The one dribble, elbow around the back, the big step around, and finger roll up. Again, I think they tried to use Aaron Gordon due to his length and his quickness and athletic ability, but it just wasn't going to work. Again, when you've got a guy who's shooting well outside and scoring well inside, it's pretty hard to stop, and Davis is one of those few players who you really can struggle to stop on a good night. He then gained the inside pass from Drew Holiday, who scored all over the top of Terrence Ross. Pretty simple stuff. He basically just caught the ball over the top of him. There was not a lot of work needed to be done. He then posted up on the basket side of Evan Fournier and made the catch and scored over Isaac on the step up. Again, really bad defense here from Fournier, knowing there was an open basket. No one was there to try and catch him. He basically three-quartered him, which really didn't work in the end, particularly when Davis is a hell of a lot more athletic, has a hell of a lot more length, and there's no one else that's playing great interior defense for your team. He then got a triple threat position on the wing with Nikola Vucevic, dribbled into a step back and scored the jumper on the wing. Again, his ability to use his handles and his athletic ability whilst playing. I mean, obviously there are other players that aren't good defenders, but the likes of Vucevic, who are interior scorers and rebounders and don't really worry about their defensive game, this was always going to be a score or some sort of basket for him, whether it be getting around on the dribble or, as we've seen here, the step-back dribble and the score of the jump shot. Then gained a defensive board following the Vucevic miss. He ran the floor to be fouled in the layup attempt by Isaac and made 1 of 2. He was then held by Fournier when receiving a pass. This was just poor defense again. He bodied him, got basket side on the foul line, and following the foul, he, after the whistle, went through and made the dunk. So it just shows you what was going to happen, whether he was fouled or not. But to be fair, he did only make 1 of 2, so maybe that restricted him pretty well in the end. Not that it made much of a difference when the closest they got with 12 was within 12 while Davis was scoring. He then cut inside of Isaac's following a corner screen of Jameer Nelson, faked Isaac close to the hoop and finished very nonchalantly and made the and one following the Maurice Spates hack, so to speak. And then finally, he grabbed a defensive rebound following an Isaac air ball. He ran the floor to post up and score on a lonely Shelvin Mack. He posted up, basically just they threw the ball over the top, he spun off, caught it, landed, and a dunk. Very nonchalantly, and again, a reason why he was my player of the day. There was really no one that was going to stop Anthony Davis in this game. The only guy that could have was playing on his team. That was DeMarcus Cousins. As I mentioned, player of the day with an impact score of .306, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 3 of those being offensive, 2 assists, no steals, and 3 blocks to go with that. 65% from the field, nothing from deep, 86.7% from the stripe. It's good to see, again, guys not making their jump shots from well outside. Means they go inside and they try and score, and if they can't score, they get fouled. And this is exactly what Davis did. And this is what a lot of players should do because it's an effective and efficient way to score. He then he only had the 2 turnovers, so an efficient offensive night. Again, made the most of getting inside and getting to the hoop. Only the 1 foul, so a more efficient defensive night. And 41 minutes of play, he had quite the impact. But as I mentioned, the problem that does face the New Orleans Pelicans is when one of their 2 bigs isn't quite clicking. Obviously, 12 rebounds and 6 assists is quite a contribution from a DeMarcus Cousins who only had the 12 points. But when you're only putting up 12 points and the other guy's putting up 39, unless you're able to put up that 25, 26-point night, knowing that you have the capability going for 30, 35 with the way they play their tandem combination of the big guys, you need to find some other way to create offense, and if not create offense, better way to run defense. And I feel the way they can run better defense is by putting Tony Allen into the starting lineup more often, or at least playing him for more minutes. Again, you've got a guy here who's known to play on the LeBron Jameses, the Kevin Durant's, and the bigger guys who are the offensive threats of the opposition team. And if not hold them, at least restrict them to their full capabilities. And I think that's going to be key when they come up against other sides who are able to defend them in this way. There aren't many teams that are able to defend them in this way, but I mean, when you come up against, say, like a Marc Gasol or even a good big man combination of a Blake Griffin and a DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre not the greatest on-ball defender, but his rim protection does serve him well. And even a Rudy Gobert, whose rim protection serves him well. They could be in a spot of bother. But again, that remains to be seen. We have to see what happens throughout the season on that. It's quite lucky, really, that Davis didn't have a bigger second half, only the 13 points there following 26 from the opening half. Again, playing on guys who really can't defend him, who can't defend the outside jumper, or just have a lack of defensive ability in general. Again, I do keep repeating about Nikola Vucevic. He is the European style of player who does like getting into the hoop and scoring, doesn't mind the occasional jump shot, and is able to rebound. That, again, that's something that has improved in the European players, but something that hasn't improved is simply their defensive ability. And this is a game that proves that inside and out for me. Again, Davis had 39, and his main assignment for a lot of the game was Vucevic. So you work it from there. Anyway, guys, that's been me with my NBA Player of the Day for October 30th, 2017. Anthony Davis, the New Orleans Pelicans, in a loss to the Orlando Magic, with a total impact score of .306, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 3 of those offensive, 2 assists, no steals, and 3 blocks on 65% shooting from the field. Didn't make a three-pointer, but managed to get inside again, the 65% from the field. 86.7 from the free throw line. 2 turnovers, resulting in a pretty efficient offensive night. Only 1 foul, an efficient defensive night. in 41 minutes of play. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel for more daily NBA videos. Leave a comment. Let me know who your NBA player of the day was. My NBA player of the week video will be up. I think some of you will be surprised as to who my NBA player of the week is for this week gone, the 24th to the 30th. Let me know who your player of the week was. Always wanting feedback on how you feel my system's working, any analysis that I may have missed, or any analysis you think I can improve on. Player of the day for the 30th of October 2017, Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans, in a surprising loss to the Orlando Magic.